What's up everyone, Raf here from BNC Camera, and in this episode we're going to help give you a glow up to your Firefly shooting game. Many people have tried capturing the magical Firefly, and many have failed. Usually this happens when you have zero preparation. However, when you enter the shot fully equipped with the right equipment and tricks, you will instantly give an enchanting look to whatever scenery you're trying to capture. That is, of course, if they're native species to your region. Regardless, you'll be taking away some valuable knowledge in this episode if you're wanting to capture little critters in general, so let's jump right in. It goes without saying, but come prepared. Always remember this. Photographing light requires your camera to be set with a long exposure, and long exposures and tripods go hand in hand. There is no way you can take a photograph without a tripod while using long exposure and not getting a blurry photo, unless that's the look you're aiming to capture. Make sure you always have a tripod with you when you plan on photographing fireflies. Having that tripod should be your main priority. Make sure you don't leave the house without it. Alrighty, next up, let's go ahead and discuss about your camera settings. Just like having the right equipment, having your camera set to the proper settings will also help you achieve that enchanting photograph you're striving to shoot for. Your main goal is to get your shutter open long enough to grab as much light as possible before closing. Try starting with a 3 to 5 second exposure and an ISO of around 200. But be careful, leaving your shutter open for too long can result in an unappealing photograph. There's a high chance of having your background end up too bright and leaving little to be desired. After that, you'll most likely need to tweak your camera settings to your preference. The best thing you can do is stack your photographs through editing software during post-processing, which we'll be getting into here in a little bit. But before we do, let's go ahead and talk about how you can get creative and experiment through composition. Now, nature is unpredictable, yet you don't want to take random photographs of fireflies in a clump. You can always move around your scene to see which angle you should take to get the best look. You can try taking photographs from a higher or lower point of view. Also, think about the background of your photo. Is there anything interesting or unusual to help create interest in your image? One of the more popular composition choices, of course, is the rule of thirds. Not too familiar with that technique? We had already put together a video discussing the rule of thirds, so once you're done with this one, definitely check that one out as well too. And of course, lastly, post-processing. Like we had discussed earlier, this is a step where you can stack your photos. You can open your photographs through Photoshop and layer or stack your images onto one another. And here's how you do that. Step 1. Open up your image into Adobe Photoshop. Step 2. Upload each of your images to their layers, typically found on the right-hand side of your screen. Step 3. Each of the layers will need to be blended. Set the layer to the lighter color blending mode. When you do this, the brightest parts of your photo are visible. Step 4. Just flatten your layers to create one photograph. And of course, you can always do a lot when you're editing your photograph. However, be sure you don't overdo it. Over-edited photos can look fake and cheap. You want to use editing to enhance the beauty of your photograph. Try altering shadows, highlights, contrast, and brightness when editing. And that's pretty much all there is to it when it comes to photographing fireflies. With this quick little guide we had outlined, this should help in giving you that dreamy and ethereal look with fireflies hanging around in the backdrop. If you're wanting to capture the little guys up close and personal, be sure to bring a proper macro lens for your camera system. That in and of itself is a whole other ballgame, but if you're interested in learning more, definitely let us know in the comments section and we'll do what we can to cook up a macro photography video for insects. Thanks so much for catching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a like and subscribe as well too. It means the world to us. Once more, this is Raf from BNC Camera, signing off.